Right now, you're sitting at your desk working 60 hours a week, fighting desperately for a promotion. You are eyeing that entry-level management title, team lead, assistant manager, or coordinator. You believe that securing this title is your first step on the corporate ladder, a safety net that will protect you from the next economic downturn. You are operating under a catastrophic industrial era illusion. Middle management, as you know, it is dead. And your current promotion path is a trapdoor leading directly to the professional extinction. The corporate world just pivoted violently. Administrative bloat is being purged by algorithmic orchestration. While you are trying to become a coordinator, the era of the coordinator is officially over. The new class of high-leverage professionals is emerging to take absolute control of the enterprise. And if you do not master their specific toolkit, you're not just stalling your career, you are actively participating in your obsolescence. Before I break down the exact mathematical death of the middle manager, expose the new Rules Manifesto of a high-leverage autonomy, and give you the precise architectural blueprint to acquire the 3 recession-proof skills that will make you entirely indispensable in 2026, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. Stop aiming for the entry-level management roles. They are being permanently deleted by automation. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop coordinating and start orchestrating. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the corporate hierarchy and human capital is aggressively different from the comforting, obsolete advice provided by traditional career coaches, you must understand my underlying structural logic. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. I do not look at the corporate organizational chart as a family tree. I look at it as a computational matrix of efficiency and latency. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities and global banks, the data I analyze is completely unambiguous. The entry-level manager is an inefficient router of information. We are transitioning to a system of high-leverage autonomy where one person with the right cognitive tools does the work of an entire management tier. Let us systematically deconstruct this transition through 5 distinct phases. The fear of obsolescence, the constraint insight, the skill 1, complex data synthesis, skill 2, adversarial thinking, and skill 3, narrative architecture. Phase 1, the fear of obsolescence, the death of the coordinator. We must first diagnose the exact insidious danger of a traditional management path. For the last 50 years, the corporate playbook was simple. You perform well as an individual contributor and the company rewards you by making you a manager. You transition from doing the work to ensuring other people do the work. You track their paid time off, PTOs. You route emails from the executive team down to the floor. You hold status meetings to check on project latency. You become a human router. Today, human routers are being systematically deleted from the corporate balance sheet. Imagine a massive, complex telecommunication network. 30 years ago, you needed a room full of human operators manually plugging in the cables into the switchboard to connect a call. Today, an algorithm routes billions of calls a second with zero human intervention. The modern corporate department is undergoing the exact same purge. Administrative bloat is being eradicated by advanced enterprise software. The companies no longer needs to pay an assistant manager $80,000 a year to track recruitment pipelines, onboarding workflows, or vacation schedules. Elite enterprise resource planning softwares, ERP, like platforms like Oracle SCM, operate with automated algorithmic precision. They flag the bottlenecks, process the approvals, and generate the compliance report instantly. If your primary professional value is summarizing what others are doing, setting up calendar invites, and tracking KPIs on the static spreadsheet, your role is mathematically liability. The algorithm does not need a coordinator. The CEO does not want to pay for a coordinator. You are standing on a bridge that is actively collapsing. Phase 2, the Contrarian insight, high leverage autonomy. To survive this purge, you must adapt the mindset of an apex operator. You must embrace a fundamentally contrarian insight. Stop aiming for an entry-level management role because they are being permanently deleted. The future belongs exclusively to those who replaced traditional oversight with extreme high leverage autonomy. In the old model, leverage meant how many direct reports you had under you. If you managed 20 people, you were considered more important than the person who managed 5. It was an empire-building mindset based on the biological headcount. In the 2026 economy, leverage is decoupled from headcount. Leverage is defined by the magnitude of the operational system you can personally control and optimize without needing a team of subordinates to execute the manual labor. We have entered the era of super individual contributor. Consider the execution of a high-stakes financial remediation inside a Tier 1 banking institution. In the past, auditing a massive compliance failure required a vice president, 3 middle managers, and 20 junior analysts manually reviewing the spreadsheet. Today, a single Apex operator utilizes algorithmic sorting, complex data script, and the API integrations to identify the financial bleed, isolate the liability, and execute the remediation in a fraction of time. One person collapses an entire management tier into a single highly compensated node. The corporate world just pivoted. You are no longer paid to manage the biological efforts of others. You are paid to orchestrate the mathematical output of the machine. Phase 3, Skill 1, Complex Data Synthesis, the end of the guesswork. The first recession-proof skill that completely replaces the need for the middle manager is a complex data synthesis. Traditional managers operate on intuition, observations, and proximity. They look at the office floor, see people typing, and assume the department is productive. When a bottleneck occurs, they call a meeting to ask everyone what went wrong. It is a slow, subjective, and highly inaccurate method of problem solving. Apex operators do not guess, and they do not ask for opinions. They synthesize raw data into structural reality. Imagine you're trying to navigate a massive cargo ship through a storm. The traditional manager is standing on the deck, looking through binoculars, asking the crew if they see any rocks. The Apex operator is below deck, staring at the high-fidelity real-time sonar and radar dashboard that instantly highlighted the optimal, mathematically perfect route through the friction. You must master the ability to map, extract, and synthesize data across complex systems. This means applying the Lean Six Sigma and Kaizen continuous improvement methodology directly to the corporate data flow. If you are operating in human resources, you do not manage a team of recruiters by asking them for weekly updates. You utilize value stream mapping. You extract the raw recruitment latency data directly from the Oracle Recruitment Cloud, OTBI, the Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence Reporting Tool. You synthesize the data to identify the exact mathematical point where candidates are abandoning the pipeline. You do not manage a recruiter. You are a system engineer at the system to eliminate the friction entirely. You re-engineer the system to eliminate the friction entirely. If you're operating in real estate sector, you do not manage a team of junior agents by hyping them up with motivational speeches. You build an interactive, high-fidelity Excel property dashboards that aggregates lead generation metric, marketing automation latency, and RERA-compliant contract timelines. You synthesize the market data to instantly identify the highest yield asset classes, and you deploy your capital accordingly. Data synthesis allows you to identify the bleeding wound of the corporation and close it before the middle manager even realizes the company is losing blood. The market does not pay for your opinion. The market pays for your diagnostic certainty. Phase 4, Skill 2, Adversarial Thinking, Cognitive red teaming. The second recession-proof skill is the one that most modern employees are terrified to execute. Adversarial thinking. The vast majority of the corporate workforce is being trained to be passive consumer of algorithmic output. When the AI generates a report, when the software suggests a supply chain route, and when the compliance system flags a contract, the average employee accepts it as an absolute truth. They have been conditioned to be a yes man to the machine. This creates a massive catastrophic vulnerability for the corporation. AI hallucinates. Algorithms carry the biases of their training data. Automated systems optimize for the metric they are given, even if those metrics accidentally triggers massive legal or financial liability. To become indispensable, you must become the adversary. You must execute the cognitive red teaming. In military strategy, the red team is a group specifically assigned to attack their own defenses, identifying the fatal flaws before the actual enemy does. You must apply this exact philosophy to the corporate strategy. When the executive board proposes a massive restructuring plan based on the polished AI forecast, The middle manager nods and agrees to implement it. The apex operators attack it. You take the data and you deliberately try to break it. You apply your own cross-disciplinary knowledge. Your understanding of the labor laws, financial compliance, and the operational physics. The algorithm suggests we can cut our logistics timeline by 20% by routing through this specific vendor. However, my legal analysis of that vendor's previous RERA contract indicates a high probability of default during Q3 supply shocks. If we follow the algorithms, we expose the firm to a multi-million-dollar breach of contract lawsuit. You're not being negative. You are providing an invaluable high-friction audit layer that the machine cannot replicate. An algorithm is designed to execute a prompt efficiently. It does not possess the ethical, legal, or visceral fear required to anticipate complex human betrayal or regulatory ambushes. When you possess the courage and the analytical rigor to challenge the automated consensus, you cease to be an employee. You become the ultimate corporate immune system. An organization can automate compliance, but it can never automate adversarial judgment. Phase 5, Skill 3, Narrative Architecture, Executive Leverage. The final recession-proof skill bridges the gap between the raw data and the massive capital deployment. Narrative architecture. You can possess the most profound data synthesis in the world, and you can execute flawless adversarial thinking. But if you cannot translate that technical reality into an executive narrative, you have zero leverage. Traditional managers simply pass information up. They hand the raw spreadsheet to the vice president and hope the VP figures it out. Apex operator practices narrative architecture. They understand the C-level executive and the international investor do not have time, the bandwidth, or the technical expertise to parse the raw data. The executive brain is looking for a story, a business case, and a mathematically sound path to dominance. Imagine you are a brilliant architect who had designed the most structurally sound skyscraper in the world. If you walk into a meeting with investors and drop 5,000 pages of raw structural blueprint on the table, you will lose the funding. The investors cannot read the blueprints. You must provide the 3D rendering, the financial return on investment, and compelling narrative of how this building will dominate the skyline. You must convert the raw algorithmic output into strategic leverage. When you uncover a massive inefficiency using the Lean Six Sigma training, you do not just send an email with a chart, you build the narrative. The current onboarding latency is costing us $400,000 a quarter in lost productivity. The data synthesis proves the bottleneck is situated in the legacy HR approval gates. I have applied an adversarial audit to the proposed software upgrade and secured the legal compliance parameters. The narrative is clear. If we deploy the specific Oracle SCM workflow today, we mathematically recapture the $400,000 by Q4, fundamentally reshaping our operating margin. You have defined the villain, the bottleneck, established the stakes, the financial bleed, and position yourself as an inevitable the architect of the solution. Middle managers coordinate the present. Narrative architects secure the funding to dictate the future. Look closely at the corporate hierarchy around you. The people fighting for the entry-level management titles are fighting for seats on a sinking ship. They are tying their career trajectory to administrative tasks that a single line of code can eradicate in milliseconds. The new Rules Manifesto is absolute era of the coordinator is over. You must discard the illusion that overseeing the manual labor of the others is a path to security. Market no longer rewards biological headcount. The market rewards the individual who can synthesize complex data, aggressively audit the algorithm through adversarial thinking, and translate that reality into a narrative that commands executive capital. Stop asking for a promotion into a middle management. Consolidate your power. Master the high leverage toolkit. Become a department of one, operating with the force of 50. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top. In the present, narrative architects secure the funding to dictate the future. Look closely at the corporate hierarchy around you. The people fighting for the entry-level management titles are fighting for seats on a sinking ship. They are tying their career trajectory to administrative tasks that a single line of code can eradicate in milliseconds. The new Rules Manifesto is absolute era of the coordinator is over. You must discard the illusion that overseeing the manual labor of the others is a path to security. Market no longer rewards biological headcount. The market rewards the individual who can synthesize complex data, aggressively audit the algorithm through adversarial thinking, and translate that reality into a narrative that commands executive capital. Stop asking for a promotion into a middle management. Consolidate your power, master the high leverage toolkit, become a department of one, operating with the force of 50. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.